Hello, and welcome back to the latest episode of the Snobaware Show, kicking it off with our snobbish pre-show for our Patreon supporters. Welcome back, everybody. Let's go ahead and jump into the show. Brother Tech, since last week, what's been going on with you? We had a little of an event here in Atlanta this past week. So,
oh, you talking about the snow?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So it was cool. Snow for Friday and Saturday kind of cleared up by this week. The only only challenge was I ordered, and this is like a bigger conversation, but I ordered some things and the snow delayed them. So that's the only negative or anything that I've had as a result to the snow. I did get a chance for all those who, if you're just now listening or have been listening for a while now, we bought my daughter a car for Christmas. And so now that it was snowing, perfect opportunity. I'm from the North. My daughter was born in Maryland, but, she spent most of her life down here in Atlanta. But you may never get this opportunity for this amount of snow. More importantly, this amount of snow on the roads. So I took her out and taught her or showed her how to drive in the snow. And it's more of a science than just go slow, right?
Yes.
There's a way you can, quote unquote, control your car so it only goes as fast as you want it to go, whether you're jamming on the gas or not. So I kind of showed her those little steps, and in addition to, you got to drive a little bit outside of the obvious stuff. You got to drive a little bit slower. You got to pay more attention to people around you. You got to pay more attention to what they're doing in their cars, because you may be a good driver,
right?
But there's some other people out here who don't know the first thing about driving in the snow, and
especially down here.
right. And one of the things people do is panic and slam on the brakes, which is the opposite of what you want to do driving in the snow. So I'm trying to teach her how to use the car engine to slow you down versus the brakes.
Right.
So, showing her that stuff. So that was like the highlight of the weekend. My middle child and my son went out, in and out, playing in the snow. So those are the two who are really looking forward to the snow, especially my middle child. She's been agonizing over the fact there hasn't been any snow for the past couple of years. So she got her little wish. Her and her brother, put on their double socks, put on their boots, put on the gloves that they had, went outside and played in the dirty snow.
Yeah. And I have to say, especially here in Atlanta, every couple of years we get, snow. Those listening, I'm using air quotes. And I just figured, because I saw up to one point, they were like, oh, it might be up to like 5-6 inches. I mean, just these extraordinary numbers. And I was like, yeah, whatever. I did, get the supplies and prepared, because that's what we do. But I was surprised at the amount that we got. We got a significant amount. Like, it wasn't just a little
It was winter
dusting
snow.
or sprinkling. We got actual snow. And it was one of those things where that morning when I woke up, I was like, oh, I forgot we're supposed to have snow. Let me look outside. And it was coming down, like down. I was like, oh crap. I was like, we really got snow. So again, didn't really affect me too much. I had planned on, being in. I did have an event that I wanted to go to on that Friday. They ended up rescheduling it to that Sunday, because by Sunday, everything had cleared up. But we actually got, some real snow. And I have to say, while I don't enjoy it, I know there are a lot of people excited about it. I kind of peeked out of my upstairs patio door. I took a couple pictures, couple videos, and I was like, yep, I'm sliding back in. I didn't even really actually go outside because, I'm like, I'm not here for it. But some of the videos and pictures from people around Atlanta, I have to say they were funny. The people who were
took advantage to create some content.
Yeah, skiing down Peachtree. A lot of people were having fun at Piedmont Park. They were sledding down the hills at Piedmont Park. I saw some people. This one guy, he had his clippers out and he kind of clipped up and trimmed up
Oh
a little
yeah, yeah. The
snowman.
dirty snow. Yeah.
Yeah, that one
Hmm.
was funny. And the one with the hookah was funny. So
Hmm.
it was some really good Atlanta content. So I was, that was the upside of it. But it all melted away. I think my power went out Saturday, but it was at like 3 in the morning, and I happened to be up.
Hmm.
But by like 5, it was back on. So nothing really major. And that was my thing. The snow's fine. The snow's pretty. My issue is the ice,
Hmm.
because it snows, then it melts some, then it gives this layer of ice, then ice gets on power lines and on trees and all that type of stuff. But for the most part, it was pretty to look at. And I have friends with little kids, and it was their first snow. So that's always fun. But, glad it's come and gone. Rumor has it, next in the coming week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe, we're supposed to get some more snow. I think it's supposed to be like in the teens, like 16, 17, 12 or something for a few days. So hopefully no more snow. We've gotten our regularly scheduled snow for our every 2 or 3 years. So yeah, it was fun. Getting into the show, I know that you are a huge Sonos fan, and I saw this particular article when I was prepping for the show. I didn't put it in the regular show, but I did want to talk about it. So one of the former execs at Apple tried to persuade Steve Jobs to purchase Sonos. The exec was Tony Fadell.
Fidel.
Fidel. Okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
They call him the father of the iPod. I mean.
Hmm.
And so he tried to get Tim to actually buy Sonos. I'm not
Hmm.
Tim. Steve
Steve.
Jobs. And Steve not only said no, but he wanted to sue
Hmm.
Sonos instead. So
Hmm.
he kind of brought this up on a podcast that he was on. But I brought this up specifically for you because it's like what could have been way back when.
And what still could be. And the reason why I say that is because Sonos is in trouble right now.
Oh yeah,
They last
their CTO just
the
kind of got out of
CEO
there.
and one of those
Well,
two high end executives, the CEO and
yeah,
another guy and another person,
yeah.
they have left. And the reason why they left was because Sonos last year moved into the headphones market with
Hmm.
their noise canceling headphones. In order to launch those headphones, new technology on old technology, the old speaker, they were still supporting the old speakers because the problem with Sonos is they release new speakers with new built-in technology that not quickly, faster than what I would like personally as a Sonos user, is
Hmm.
stuff becomes out of date
Yeah.
because they are not speakers. Same thing with HomePod. Same thing with a couple other these things. High audiophiles want speakers. They don't want Wi-Fi. They don't want AirPlay. They don't want Bluetooth. They don't want speaker grouping. They don't want mesh networks. They don't want any other things that Sonos offers. I want, as an audiophile, high-end sound quality, right? Especially at
Hmm.
that price. If I'm spending
Yeah.
that much money, you're getting into, all right, you know, these things need to work, right?
Hmm.
So all the way around the world to say they were putting the new technology, the Sonos headphones, on the old technology, the old speakers. And
Oh.
in order to make it work, they had to revamp, update, redo the Sonos app. The
Hmm.
Sonos app is where all the power is. That's where you can select the music you want to play, whether it be Sonos has their own stuff. You can connect it to Pandora. You can connect it to Apple Music, Spotify, listen to radio stations, all that stuff, right? They had to updo all that.
Hmm.
And as a result, they messed up a lot of functionality. A lot of stuff wasn't working on the speakers. The whole UI had changed. Users couldn't find stuff. They didn't like the new app that came along with the headphones. The CEO at the time was like, we're going to make it right. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to do this. Instead of saying, we messed up, our
My
bad.
bad.
Right. They said, oh, we're promising this and we're promising that, this and that and this and that. This is like May, June, July of 2024. So all the time goes along, things don't really get all that much better, right? So Sonos is finally kind of like, all right, somebody's head's got to roll for this.
Yeah.
And they picked the CEO and then another person. I can't think of what
I looked up. It was the chief product officer.
Chief product officer. Yeah. So both of them are out. So I say still could be, because Apple could be like, all right, y'all suffer just a little bit more suffering.
Get you at a bargain basement price.
And we come in and swoop you on the hookup, right? So that's what still could be. There still could be room for it if Sonos tanks anymore, right?
Yeah.
What could have been was the way the story goes from Tony Fadell was he couldn't get Steve to consider buying Sonos because Sonos, their first couple of products, they were putting a control on the speakers, on the whatever they was launching at the time, that resembled the touch wheel on the iPod. So that's why Steve Jobs is like, no, we're not acquiring them. We're going to sue them because they are infringing on our technology patents,
Thieves.
and right. So get them up out of there. So, Tony went back and talked to the Sonos people. They said, no, it's really this, that, and the other. Take a look at all this innovation. We're doing these cool things. We're doing that cool things. And Tony tried to go back to Steve. It was like, hey, they're doing this cool innovation. It's not what you think it is. They're not just trying to copy. They've got all these cool things that's going on. By that time, Steve was like, you can just stop talking. I'm on to something else right now. So what could have been was I would have Apple sound bars and Apple, speakers. I just bought a big Sonos speaker for my record player. I still got to figure out some things because, again, this goes back to Sonos's problem. So I'm kind of in the realm right now of some of these people. It's like, all right, this is just too much technology. Just make the speaker work, right?
Yeah.
So perfect example. So I bought a Sonos 5. That's one of the bigger speakers, and it fits right in the space where the speaker's supposed to go from my record player shelf, right? So in order to get the speaker to work, you can't connect it wirelessly, even though the turntable says wireless connection. Is Bluetooth. Sonos isn't Bluetooth. It's a wireless mesh network. So between the speakers, they kind of make their own little network that network connects to my Wi-Fi, and that's how you can play the different speakers in a different room. Well, I am trying to connect this speaker directly to the source, which is the turntable. So I figured out how to do it. Lo and behold, this is another story for another day. Never get rid of your cables, fellas. They tell you get rid of those cables that you've got packed up in the basement, in the box.
You'll never need them.
Don't believe the hype. So I'm trying to figure out how to get this speaker connected. And in the back of the turntable, there's RCA audio outs, left and right, red and white, those traditional cables. Into the back of the Sonos speaker, it's a 3.5 millimeter jack. So the headphone cord, the headphone connection, not cord. So I needed to find, or I was about to go out and buy one end. It's got the RCA audio jacks, left and right, red and white. Other end has the 3.5 millimeter jack. I had on my coat, had on my shoes, my wallet, my phone, my keys in the hand. I was like, let me go down here and check one more time. So I went down there and dug through all my cables, and lo and behold,
you had one.
Found a 3.5 millimeter jack, 2 RCA cables. So plugged those up to the speaker, but it still wasn't working. And this is the crux of the problem with Sonos. Too much technology. You would think with a powered speaker, because I have to plug the speaker into the wall, it doesn't pull power from the radio, from the CD player or the record player. You would think manually plugging in a powered speaker to a source, in this case, the turntable, it would just come on. It did not. I had to go on YouTube. I had to go on Google. I had to figure out how to get the speaker to work. And what you have to do is you plug the speaker up in the Sonos app. You gotta first you gotta you add the Sonos speaker to your system. Of course, I mean most people do that anyway, but you have to go into the speaker settings on the app and change how it's connected. You got to change this. You got to change this, like 3 to 4 different settings
That
that I have
sounds
to
really
change
weird.
to make the Sonos speaker finally play the sound from my turntable. So, and I still got to do some tinkering because the cable that I found was super cheap. You know, so I do need to actually pay for
Get a nice one.
Right?
Yeah.
But that's besides the point, right? It's too complicated to run a Sonos. It's expensive,
Yeah.
and 2 is too complicated. Like you said,
It should be if you can add, if it gives you the option to I mean, what you normally do is add it to the app and you plug it into the wall. You would think that the app would automatically see it because it's powered.
a turntable, right? So the easy part was connecting the speaker to the app. The hard part was getting the speaker to recognize that it's connected to a turntable. That's the problem. I had to do 2 and 3 steps. I had to make sure it's connected to line in is working. You know, you got switched line in on versus the Wi-Fi. The line in.
So you have to turn that. You have to do all this in the app.
In the app, you got to turn it on. You got to change the level of the power, and it's like, and then finally, I got sound to come out again. I need better cables to get better sound quality. But yeah, so all of that around the world.
Oh my gosh!
To say that, you know, Sonos is definitely in trouble if they don't turn it around in the next year or 3. Somebody's going to buy Sonos, and it might as well be Apple because, you know, they match. I've been saying that for years.
Yeah.
Apple needs it ain't Beats. Beats is more personal, right?
Yeah.
Think of headphones, think of little speakers. That's it for Beats. I'm talking about home audio. Right.
Especially since they're getting into the home space, really.
With the home pods. Yeah.
And
with
they
the
honestly, they could use the help from the team over at Sonos to figure out these HomePod minis. Because again, I have 3. I was so excited when they first came out, and 2 of them work pretty good. One of them is just a problem child.
Right.
Sometime it'll work, sometime it won't.
And same thing.
And switching, you know, the different, if you listen to something on Tidal, or if you look at this, even in something in Apple Music, you know, sometimes you got to disconnect,
toggle it a couple times.
Yeah.
To select your phone and then select the HomePod back again.
Make sure it's on the same Wi-Fi, because if you have, like me, I have, you know, my regular main Wi-Fi, but then I have like an extender. So if you kind of like switching things around, or if you have different things on different networks, it's like, oh God, let me check to make sure it's on the right network. Otherwise, it's not gonna be my friend. So yeah.
Right. So there has to be a way to marry technology and sound quality.
Yeah.
Apple's got it half of the way. Sonos has got it half of the way. Y'all get together and make it one good, thing. Solid thing to where the sound is what I expect from Apple and from Sonos.
Yeah.
The technology is what I expect from Apple and Sonos.
Yeah.
Neither of them, as it relates to home audio, is not getting us there yet. So maybe a marriage will get them to work.
A partnership, even something. Help us along. So yeah, so I definitely saw that and thought of you. The other thing, what I'm focusing on next week, MLK Day is on Monday, and to me, that's the only thing that's happening on Monday is MLK Day.
Not Robert E. Lee Day.
Nope, not any of that other stuff. It's MLK Day. Nothing else is going on. I know for me, I normally try to volunteer. I know Hands on Atlanta, they have stuff.
Every year around this time, we need to volunteer. And by that time, everything's scooped up. So we'll try to figure out something locally. But I'll be honest, is probably another year of sitting on the couch, if I'm being perfectly honest. And then this time, starting, January, 7th? Or what's the date? What's Martin Luther King? What the day is on Sunday? What day is that?
It's on the 20th. They celebrate it on the 20th, yeah.
All right, so the 21st is when I'll be looking for some place to volunteer or support, Maybe this year I'll probably just donate some money.
Drop a little cash. Yeah, I know I'm a part of a couple of organizations that have some things going on, so I'm just trying to figure out exactly.
Maybe I'll take off. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll take off the 20th.
Oh, you guys don't get MLK Day?
Come on now.
I'll now. We had it at the last company I worked for. We had it off. So
with all this DEI about
everything
face
rolling back. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that.
Ain't no Martin Luther King Day off, Jack.
In front of the culture, we're definitely gonna talk about some of the DEI stuff. But yeah, because I know one year when I was at my last job, I took off for Juneteenth. And I had so many, when people like emailed me for stuff, I had so many Black people reach out to me like, oh my God, that was such a good idea. I was like, yeah, they're not going to give it to us. So I might as well, use a vacation day and take off and do that. So yeah, you have to fight your resistance in whatever forms you have. But yeah, I did just kind of want to touch base to see if you had any.
We've done it in the past, but as our family got more busier, unfortunately, I'm just being 100% transparent, as we got, older and the kids are getting bigger, we're not necessarily struggling, but we're in that, all right, y'all straight for school. Yeah. All right. Y'all straight for practice or lessons or whatever the case may be. And, are we height as far as the time we're spending together? Outside of that, ain't too much. We're thinking about, especially with all the, we got home improvements going on. Like I said, we got kids with cars nowadays and all this stuff. So I'm not making excuses. Just saying, I've done it before. You make time for what you want to make time for. Yep. So I just got to keep that in mind when I'm making time to support my community and celebrate our holidays.
Yep. And the thing that I normally do, it's normally something outside, but on Monday it's supposed to be like 17 degrees and the high is supposed to be like 32. So a lot of the organizations that I've worked with before or volunteered with before have outside things. I don't want to be outside. So that's why I think it's like I'm trying to find in my little network who has something inside.
Well, there is
things or whatever.
There is a group called Books for Africa here in Atlanta or in the metropolitan area. And this is what I've done before in the past. What you can do is with Books for Africa, what they need help for. Well, the last time I did it, what they needed help for was sorting all the books. They take donations from libraries, from schools, from whatever the case may be. They have, all the different sections, all the different categories. They need people to come in and sort the books, put them in if this is geography, put it in geography. If it's math, put it in math. If it's biology, geography, whatever the case may be. So that's one of the things I've done in the past. But I think you may have to, they may take shift registration. So, and all the good spots probably taken up.
And honestly, most of the time, because I mentioned Hands on Atlanta, they have a whole website with a whole bunch of stuff that you can look through and kind of figure out what you want to do. But again, a lot of times they fill up so quick. It's a good thing that people are that involved and the slots fill up. So
same
sometimes,
same thing with Books for Africa. Friday 17th, January 17th, full. Friday, January 17th, they got different time shifts full. Monday, January 20th, full. Monday, January 20th. In the afternoon, full. Tuesday's open. Thursday's open,
But like those are the days that people, traditionally would get off or take off for, a holiday like MLK. And then, seeing what else is some of the other things that are going on Monday. People really want to find a way to give back and be productive while our, democratic,
for the changing of the guard
rules is about to go even further in the toilet. So people are trying to find ways to,
which is good. I guess a silver lining.
Yeah,
silver lining
for sure.
Silver lining for all this going on is all right. People's like, all right, now I got to get involved because running my mouth on the internet is not working.
These Twitter fingers are not helping. We actually have to do something because it's about to be a complete, even bigger shit show. So again, definitely if you can find something, even if it's something in your neighborhood or something, find a way to do something to give back. Even if it's talking to a kid or someone about Martin Luther King, what the civil rights movement means, those types of things. We can all, do something, whether it be on a grand scale or a smaller scale, to kind of, definitely exalt the day and the man that we celebrate the day for. One last thing before we head out, I did want to bring up the wildfires that are happening out in California, Southern California. As many of you know, Terrance and I are frequent contributors to DTNS, and most of those folks, Tom, Sarah, Roger, all of them are out on the West Coast. I did reach out to them when everything really started to bubble up, just to kind of check on people. All of them are safe. Amen. But I can only imagine just seeing the destruction that's going on. Yeah, sitting, waiting, wondering if you are going to be next to have to be evacuated, packing up, what you can, being prepared, prepared for having to leave and also being prepared for what could happen while you're gone. So, Apple has, if you go to the App Store, they have a quick way that you can donate to the Red Cross. I personally don't typically donate to the Red Cross because they are more of a business than a charitable organization. But, Apple is, kind of doing their part or their thing to make it easy to donate. But if you're on social media, there are so many different links. So many different people are posting verifiable organizations to help. There are GoFundMes out there because apparently one of the hardest hit areas is Altadena. That is a traditionally black and brown middle class neighborhood. One of the first ones that, black people were really able to build wealth and home ownership in that area. And again, a lot of times with these types of situations, they've already seen it where people are jacking up houses to rent. There are people calling folks saying, hey, I'll give you cash for your land. People, could be, people are sleazy. So it's one of those things where you're not only having to worry about your home, but now you're having to worry about people taking advantage of you when you're trying to rebuild. And I'm glad you put that link in there as well. A lot of the firefighters that are battling these fires, they are Californians. Canada has sent some firefighters. Mexico has sent some firefighters. Other states have sent some firefighters. But California has a huge incarceration population that are firefighters. There's even a TV show on CBS specifically about incarcerated men and women participating in fighting fires. Of course, because they are incarcerated.
And their families live in these areas.
Yeah. And it's one that I'm trying to think of the name of the show because I did watch it, Fire Country. And it's one of those things, like I said, it's on CBS. It's a good show and it gives you insight into what is really going on. And a lot of these incarcerated people, including incarcerated children, so they use youth detention, kids that are in youth detention to fight these fires as well. They don't get paid a lot of money because they are incarcerated. And for some reason, they think that these people risking their lives, they should make $5 an hour or a week or whatever. It's insane.
It's either you either shove these folks in a corner and forget about them, or you involve them in society. You quit doing both.
Yeah. And the thing is, they go through the same training that firefighters, regular firefighters go through. And then they get all this experience. And when they get released, they still aren't eligible to actually become firefighters. That's crazy. Even though they are firefighters because they have a record. And that to me is absolutely insane. But we'll definitely put in the show notes the ability to be able to donate. put money on their books, send them funds, because again, they get quote unquote paid, but it's dollars per day, not per hour, per day.
Just enough to not be considered slave labor, which is exactly what it is.
Exactly.
If you can't go nowhere, you are a slave. And if you are working, you are a slave worker.
If you're working for nothing or next to nothing, then that's what it is. But yeah, so definitely our thoughts and our prayers and resources donating. There are a couple people that have donation things here in Atlanta. I'm going to go drop off some stuff. Gooder is doing one. They have a truck that they're trying to send, a semi truck they're trying to send out there. So I'm definitely going to go and, find ways that you can help and support, even though we're on the other side of the country. They're burning, we're freezing. It's, climate change is a real thing, people. It's an actual thing. So that's going to wrap up the Snobbish Show for this week. We definitely want to thank you all for tuning in.